Dear soul, come closer. What brought you here today was not chance. Something deeper in you knew it was time to hear this. I am Kaelon, one of the elders of the Arcturian Council. I have watched over countless souls across ages beyond counting, and I say this to you with all the gentleness I carry. I see you. I see the weight you have been holding. I see how hard you have been trying to understand what is happening inside you. That restlessness, that longing, that quiet sense that you were made for something you have not yet fully touched. By the end of our time together, you will understand why this moment found you, and why everything you have felt, every ache, every strange awakening, every feeling of not quite belonging, has been quietly preparing you for exactly this. But first, let me share something I have observed across many ages, something that might bring you comfort. The souls who carry the most light are often the ones who feel the most lost before they remember who they are. That is not a flaw in you, dear Starseed. That is the pattern, and you are right on time. You have been carrying something heavy, have you not? Come, sit with me. Let us look at it together. This is not a lecture. This is not a warning. This is a moment between us, elder and soul, and I want you to know before we go any further, there is nothing wrong with you. If these words are already touching something true inside you, stay with me until the end. I have more to share with you, and I am grateful you are here with me now. And I want to begin by saying something that perhaps no one has said to you clearly enough, or often enough, or with enough gentleness to truly land. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not behind. You are not failing this journey. What you are experiencing right now, that ache, that restlessness, that deep and sometimes exhausting sense of being between two worlds, is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It is a sign that something has gone wrong. It is a sign that something is going right. Something ancient is moving through you, and it does not always move gently. Think for a moment about what it means for something ancient to move through a human life. Not something new, not something unfamiliar to the cosmos, something that has been present since the first soul ever turned inward and asked a question that had no easy answer. This movement does not arrive with soft music and clear skies. It arrives in the middle of the night, in the middle of an ordinary Tuesday. In the middle of a conversation you thought you were having about something else entirely. It arrives as disruption, as dislocation, as the sudden, bewildering sensation that the ground you were standing on is no longer as solid as it once seemed. And that is not a catastrophe. That is a calling. I have sat with this truth across more lifetimes than I can count. I have watched souls, bright, searching, tender souls just like you, arrive at this exact threshold, carrying this exact weight, asking this exact question. Why does this still hurt if I'm growing? Why does awakening feel so much like falling apart? And I want you to understand something about that question, because it matters deeply. The fact that you are asking it at all means you already sense, somewhere beneath the confusion and the pain, that something is indeed happening, that this is not random suffering, that there is meaning moving through the difficulty, even if you cannot yet see its shape. The question itself is a kind of faith, a reaching toward understanding even in the dark. And that reaching is not small. That reaching is everything. Every single time I have been asked that question, my answer has been the same. Because it is supposed to feel this way. Not because you are being punished, not because you are doing it wrong, but because what is happening inside you right now is not a minor adjustment. It is a complete and sacred restructuring of everything you thought you were. Let me offer you an image to hold alongside that truth. Consider a great tree in the middle of winter. From the outside, it appears still, perhaps even dead to someone who does not know what they are looking at. There are no leaves. There is no visible growth. The branches are bare, and the ground around it is cold and hard. But beneath the surface, in the roots, in the deep and invisible architecture of the thing, extraordinary work is being done. The tree is not failing. The tree is not behind. The tree is doing exactly what trees do in winter. It is gathering itself, deepening itself, preparing for a spring that has not yet arrived, but is already in some essential way inevitable. That is where you are right now. Do not mistake your winter for your death. It is your deepening. If everything shared in this video resonates deep in your spirit, if you always sensed something shifting inside you but couldn't name it, then you need to see what I've put together. It's called The Dark Side of Spiritual Awakening. a complete guide with 13 chapters covering every phase of this journey, plus 9 exclusive tools including emergency cards, shadow work, and 30 days of channeled guidance from Kaelon. I also built an exclusive app so you can carry everything with you. But I need to be honest, I'm only keeping this available for a limited time. Once I close access, it's gone. The link is in the first pinned comment. If your soul brought you to this video, don't ignore what it's telling you right now. Now let me sit with you in what you're actually going through, because before I offer you anything to do, I want you to feel, perhaps for the first time in a while, truly understood. There is a particular kind of loneliness that comes with this path. It is not the loneliness of having no one around you. Many of you are surrounded by people, family, friends, colleagues, communities. And yet something in you knows that none of them can quite see what you see, feel what you feel, or understand why ordinary life sometimes feels like wearing a coat that no longer fits. You smile at the right moments, you say the right things, you show up, you participate, you go through the motions of a life that looks from the outside entirely intact. But underneath, quietly, persistently, there is a part of you that is somewhere else entirely. Reaching for something. Listening for something. Aching for something you cannot fully name. This is one of the most disorienting aspects of awakening that is rarely spoken about plainly, the way it makes you feel like a visitor in your own existence, like you are watching your life from a slight distance, present enough to function but too far away to feel fully at home in it. You sit at dinner tables and realize that the conversations happening around you, conversations that once felt natural and engaging, now feel strangely thin, like you are hearing them through water. You find yourself nodding along while somewhere in the back of your awareness, something is pulling your attention toward a frequency no one else in the room seems to be tuned to. And you wonder, quietly, whether something is wrong with you. Whether you are becoming too strange for ordinary life. Whether you will ever feel at home again the way you once did. I want you to hear me when I say this. You are not becoming too strange. You are becoming more fully yourself, and the discomfort of that becoming is not a sign that you have wandered off the path. It is the path. I have witnessed this pattern across countless ages, and I want to offer you a different frame for it. Not to minimize what you're feeling, but to help you see what I have come to see after observing so many souls walk through exactly this. What you're experiencing is not confusion, it is the beginning of clarity, breaking through a very old layer of noise. Think of it this way: when light passes through a prism, there is a moment of apparent chaos. The beam fractures, scatters, seems to lose its coherence. But what is actually happening is a revelation. The light is showing you everything it contains, all the colors that were present all along, hidden within what appeared to be a single, undifferentiated ray. Your confusion right now is that prism moment. The apparent scattering is actually a revealing. You are not losing clarity. You are gaining a kind of clarity so much larger than the one you had before that it temporarily feels like its opposite. What feels like disconnection from the people around you is often your soul beginning to recognize the difference between relationships that feed your depth and relationships that require you to make yourself smaller. That recognition hurts. It is supposed to. It means something real is waking up inside you. There is a particular grief in outgrowing a dynamic that once felt comfortable, not because the person is bad or the relationship was meaningless, but because the version of you that fit neatly inside it no longer exists. You are learning, perhaps for the first time, what it feels like to need more than you have been settling for. And that is not selfishness. That is the soul insisting on its own nourishment. What feels like emotional oversensitivity, the way you absorb energy from rooms, from people, from news, from the suffering of strangers, is not weakness. It is a gift that has not yet learned how to carry itself with boundaries. And there is a profound difference between those two things. A river without banks is not powerful. It is just water spreading thin across a plain, losing itself. But give that same water bank's direction, a channel, and it becomes something that can carve canyons. Your sensitivity is the water. The work ahead is not to diminish it, but to give it shape, to learn how to be fully open and fully protected at the same time. That is not a contradiction, that is mastery. What feels like exhaustion, like a bone-deep weariness that sleep doesn't seem to touch, is often the energy of transformation itself. The soul does its most significant work in the still and quiet hours. And that work takes something from the body. It is not illness, it is initiation. Ancient cultures understood this, the great transitions of human life. Birth, death, the crossing from one state of being into another were never treated as convenient or comfortable. They were treated as sacred precisely because of how much they demanded. You are in the midst of one of the most significant transitions a soul can undergo. Of course it is asking something of your body. Of course it is asking something of your nervous system, your sleep, your appetite, your energy. Honor what is being asked. This is not a malfunction. This is the cost of becoming. What feels like losing your old self, those moments of standing in your own kitchen, your own life, looking at everything you have built and feeling strangely like a stranger in it. That is not a breakdown. That is the shedding of an identity that was never entirely yours to begin with. Consider how much of who you believed yourself to be was built not from the inside out, but from the outside in. How many of your preferences, your values, your ways of moving through the world were inherited rather than chosen? How many of your beliefs about what you deserve, what is possible, what is safe, were formed not by your soul's wisdom, but by the accumulated fears and expectations of everyone who shaped you before you were old enough to question them? The self that was assembled from expectation and approval and survival is loosening its grip. And yes, that loosening feels like grief, because in many ways it is. You are mourning a version of yourself that kept you safe, even when it kept you small, and you are being asked to trust something new that has not yet fully arrived. I know how frightening that in-between place can feel. I know how tempting it is to reach back for the old self, even when it no longer fits, simply because it is familiar. There is a kind of comfort in constraint when the constraint is what you have always known. The known suffering in some strange way feels safer than the unknown freedom. I want you to know that reaching back is not failure. It is a very human response to a very real fear, and it does not mean you cannot also, gently, keep moving forward. The two things can exist at the same time. You can be afraid and still be moving. You can grieve what is falling away and still be grateful for what is arriving. You can feel lost in this moment and still be, in the larger sense, completely and perfectly on your way. So let me offer you something now. Not rules, not requirements. Just a series of gentle invitations. Steps that have helped many souls when they arrived at this exact place. Take what serves you. Leave what doesn't. There is no wrong way to receive this. The first thing that has helped many souls is allowing themselves to stop explaining what they're going through. I know this might feel strange at first, because so much of the pain of this journey comes from not being understood. And the natural response to that is to try harder to make others understand, to find just the right words, to hope that if you explain it well enough, someone will finally see you. There is something heartbreakingly tender about that impulse. It speaks to how deeply you want to be known. And that longing for deep, genuine, witnessed knowing is not something to be ashamed of. It is one of the most human longings there is, but what I have observed, again and again, is that the exhausting effort of translating your inner experience for people who are not yet ready to receive it actually pulls you away from that experience. It takes you out of the feeling and into the performance of the feeling. You find yourself describing something sacred in terms you hope will be acceptable, packaging your transformation into language that will not alarm or alienate, shrinking the magnitude of what you are going through so that it will fit inside someone else's comfort zone, and in doing so, you leave yourself. You step out of the very experience you were trying to share, and you come back to find it slightly diminished, slightly less real, slightly further away. And what you need right now is not to be seen by others. What you need is to stop abandoning yourself every time you reach for external validation. You might gently begin to practice this when you feel the urge to explain, to justify, to convince someone of the reality of what you're experiencing. Just pause. Take one slow breath and offer yourself the acknowledgement you were about to seek from someone else. Say, internally or aloud, I know what I'm going through is real. I don't need proof of that. I am my own witness. I am my own authority on the landscape of my inner life. That small act, done consistently, begins to rebuild something in you that years of seeking external approval may have quietly eroded. It begins to rebuild trust between you and yourself, and that trust, That interior knowing that your experience is valid regardless of whether anyone else can see it is one of the most foundational things a soul in awakening can carry. It is the ground from which everything else grows. The second thing that has helped many souls is returning to the body as a place of safety rather than a source of alarm. When you are in the middle of a spiritual opening, the body often responds with intensity. Sleep changes, appetite shifts, there may be physical sensations, a buzzing, a tingling, a pressure, a heightened awareness of energy moving in ways that are difficult to describe. There may be moments where your heart races for no reason you can identify, or where you feel a wave of emotion move through you so quickly and so completely that you don't know where it came from or where it went. And if you do not understand what is happening, it is easy to relate to the body as something wrong, something to be monitored with anxiety, something separate from you that is perhaps malfunctioning. But the body is not malfunctioning. The body is responding. It is doing what it is designed to do when great change moves through it. It is making room. Every strange sensation, every shift in sleep, every unexplained wave of feeling is the body saying, something significant is happening here, and I am making the adjustments necessary to hold it. The body is not behind you on this journey. It is with you, faithful and present, and doing its best with something unprecedented. What I have noticed helps is a very simple, very deliberate practice of returning to the body with gentleness rather than scrutiny. You might try this. Place both feet flat on the ground. Feel the floor beneath you, its solidity, its support. Let that physical reality anchor you for a moment. Then place one hand on your chest. Feel the warmth of your own touch, and beneath it, the steady, faithful rhythm of your heart. Breathe slowly enough that you can feel your chest rise and fall beneath your hand. And for just a few moments, let yourself be here, not thinking about what is happening, not analyzing what it means, not trying to fix or understand or prepare. Just here, in this body, on this earth, in this moment, fully, simply, presently here. The body, dear one, is not your obstacle on this journey. It is your vehicle and your anchor. It is the sacred vessel through which this transformation is occurring. Learning to return to it with love rather than fear, with gratitude rather than suspicion, is one of the quietest and most powerful things you can do for yourself right now. The body has been waiting for your kindness. Let yourself give it. The third thing that has helped many souls is giving themselves permission to grieve what is falling away. There is a tendency in spiritual communities to speak of release as if it should feel like relief. And sometimes it does. There are things we let go of that feel like setting down a heavy stone we had forgotten we were carrying, and the moment of release is pure, uncomplicated lightness. But more often, what falls away during an awakening was something you loved. A belief that made you feel safe in an uncertain world, a relationship that felt like coming home, a version of yourself that you were proud of, that others admired, that you had worked hard to build. A future you had carefully imagined, a life that now seems to be dissolving before you have been given a replacement. When those things dissolve, and in a genuine awakening, many of them will, what you feel is loss. Real, human, legitimate, unspiritualized loss. And you deserve to grieve it. You deserve to sit with that loss and let it be as large as it actually is, not compress it behind spiritual language, not bypass it with a reassurance that everything happens for a reason or that the universe has a plan. That may be true at a cosmic level, and it can also be true at the human level that something is gone that you loved and that you miss. Both things are real. Both things deserve space. I have watched many souls rush past their grief in the name of growth, telling themselves they should be grateful, they should be expanding, they should not be this sad about something they consciously chose to release. And every single time, I have watched that unacknowledged grief reassemble itself further down the path, larger and more insistent than before, demanding the attention it was denied. Grief is not something you can outrun. It is something you can outrun. It is something you can only move through, and the only way through is in. What has helped them, and what I offer to you, is sitting with the grief with the same reverence they would bring to any spiritual practice. You might set aside even 10 minutes, not to fix the feeling, not to transmute it or extract a lesson from it, but simply to be with it, to create a quiet space in which you say, I am sad. I am allowed to be sad. This mattered to me. This loss is real. and I honor the reality of what I am feeling, not as a spiritual bypasser who has moved beyond pain, but as a full human being who is capable of being touched by what they love. Grief, when it is welcomed rather than resisted, when it is given a chair and a cup of tea and allowed to speak, moves through. It does not stay forever. It is not the destination, but it will not leave until it has been properly received. Give it that, and then, when it is ready, it will leave on its own, and it will take something with it when it goes. Not something you needed, something you were carrying past its time. The fourth thing that has helped many souls is beginning to distinguish between the voice of the old self and the voice of what is emerging. This is subtle work, and I don't want to make it sound more complicated than it is. But inside you right now, there are two voices that often speak at the same time, and learning to hear the difference between them is one of the most consequential skills a soul in awakening can develop. One is the voice of the self that was built for survival, practical, cautious, oriented toward what is known and safe, fluent in the language of what could go wrong. That voice is not your enemy. It has served you in ways you may not yet fully appreciate. It is the part of you that learned very early how to navigate a world that sometimes felt unsafe. It does not speak out of malice. It speaks out of a very old, very understandable fear. But it is also the voice that says, "This is too much. This doesn't make sense. Go back to who you were. Stop feeling so deeply. Be more normal. Don't risk. Don't reach. Don't trust what you cannot prove." And then there is another voice, quieter, less insistent. It does not make its case the way the first voice does. It does not argue. It does not repeat itself to make sure you heard. It does not compete for your attention with urgency or alarm. It speaks once with an almost casual certainty, and then it waits. It is the voice of what is genuinely trying to emerge in you. The voice not of who you were conditioned to be, but of who you actually are at the level beneath all conditioning. And it tends to feel less like thought and more like knowing. Less like noise and more like stillness that somehow carries information. It feels like a compass, finding north, without drama, without announcement, simply settling into its truest direction. You might begin to gently practice noticing which voice you are listening to in any given moment. This is not about silencing the first voice or dismissing it. It has earned its place in your psyche through years of faithful service to your safety. Simply notice it. Name it even. There is the voice of my survival self. And then, in that noticing, create a little space, a small pause between hearing it and obeying it. In that pause, listen for the other one, the quieter one. And when you catch it, even for a single moment, even for a half breath of recognition, honor it with your full attention. Honor it with your full attention. Because that voice, dear one, is the whole reason you are here. It is what brought you to this video, to this moment, to this message. It has been trying to reach you for a long time. It will keep trying. Your only job is to learn to hear it more clearly with each passing day. The fifth thing that has helped many souls is releasing the timeline they had assigned to their own transformation. I say this with great compassion, because I know how much the mind wants to know. How long will this take? When will I feel better? When will I arrive? When will I recognize myself again in the mirror? When will I stop feeling this way and start feeling the way I imagine I am supposed to feel on the other side of all of this? Those are not wrong questions. They are very human questions, and they come from a very real place of exhaustion and longing. The mind is not cruel for asking them. It is simply doing what minds do, trying to map the territory, trying to locate itself in time, trying to generate the sense of orientation that uncertainty has taken away. But transformation, in my observation, does not move on the mind's schedule. It moves on the soul's schedule, and the soul measures time the way a river measures distance, not in units but in the depth of the journey, in what has been carved and shaped and slowly, irreversibly changed. You cannot rush a river. You can only float in it, trusting the current even when the current is not moving in the direction you expected. What I have noticed is that the greatest leaps in growth often happen not when a person pushes harder, but when they make peace with where they are, when they stop fighting the season they are in and begin to ask, with genuine curiosity, what is this season trying to teach me? What is available to me in this stillness, in this waiting, in this uncertainty, that I could not access if I were already on the other side of it, because there are gifts that only exist in the not yet knowing. There are capacities that can only be developed in the waiting. Patience, presence, trust, the ability to hold complexity without collapsing into it. These are not things you can acquire in the easy seasons. They are forged in exactly the kind of season you are in right now. There is wisdom in the in-between. There are gifts in the pause. The caterpillar does not emerge from the chrysalis and apologize for how long it took. It does not arrive with a disclaimer. It simply arrives, transformed so completely that it barely resembles what it was, capable of things that would have been unimaginable to its earlier form. And so will you. You will arrive. Not on the schedule your mind has set, but at the moment your becoming is complete. And when you look back from that place, you will understand why every part of the journey, including this part, especially this part, was exactly what was needed. Give yourself permission to stop measuring your progress. Just tend to yourself with care, with water, with rest, with kindness, with the small nourishments that remind your body and your spirit that they are worthy of being cared for. The arrival will happen on its own. That is a promise I make not lightly, but from the depth of everything I have witnessed across the long arc of souls. The sixth thing that has helped many souls is finding even one place, one person, one practice, one space where they do not have to pretend. I want to be honest with you about something. This journey can be isolating in ways that are genuinely hard, and simply telling yourself to feel less alone doesn't actually make you feel less alone. Reminding yourself that millions of people have walked this path before you, while true and worth knowing, does not in itself address the very present, very physical experience of sitting in a room full of people who love you and feeling utterly unseen. What helps is not a thought. What helps is action. Gentle, small, consistent action toward connection, even when everything in you wants to retreat further into the solitude that has come to feel safe. You might consider, is there even one person in your life with whom you can be more honest? Not all the way honest, if that feels like too much. Not the whole story at once, just more honest than you have been. One small truth shared in the direction of depth. I have been going through something, and I'm not sure how to talk about it yet, but I wanted you to know is enough to begin. The full conversation does not have to happen all at once. The door just needs to open a crack. And sometimes that crack is enough to let in enough light to remember that connection is possible. Or perhaps it is a practice, the discipline of journaling in the early morning when the house is still quiet and the day has not yet made its demands, or sitting in deliberate silence for 10 minutes before the noise begins, or walking in nature without earbuds, without destination, simply moving through the living world and letting it remind your nervous system what it feels like to belong to something larger than the interior storm. Whatever it is that gives you a few minutes each day where you do not have to perform, explain, or manage yourself for anyone. Where you can simply be in your own experience without commentary, without the weight of others' expectations, without the need to translate yourself. Where you can simply exist, fully and without apology, exactly as you are. These are not luxuries. I want to be very clear about that. For a soul in awakening, they are nourishment. They are the bread and water of spiritual survival. Treat them that way. Protect them. Schedule them if you must. Do not give them away, the first request from a world that will always have one more thing for you to do before you can tend to yourself. You matter. Your inner life matters, and caring for it is not selfish. It is sacred. The seventh thing, dear one, and perhaps the most important of everything I could offer you today, is simply this: learning to be a kind witness to yourself. Not a proud witness, not a critical one, not an evaluating one, who is always measuring and comparing and finding the current moment wanting in relation to some imagined future state. Just a kind one, a patient one, a witness who can look at exactly where you are right now, with all the confusion and the grief and the uncertainty and the occasional beauty, and say quietly, I see you. You are doing well. You are doing better than you know. What I mean by that, in practical terms, is this. Most souls going through what you are going through spend enormous energy evaluating whether they are doing it right. Am I awake enough? Am I progressing? Am I too attached? Am I not attached enough? Am I spiritual enough? Am I still too much in my ego? Am I processing my emotions correctly? Am I meditating enough? Am I eating the right things, thinking the right thoughts, holding the right intentions? This evaluation, however well-intentioned, is itself a form of unkindness toward yourself. It is the experience of your own life, filtered through a constant layer of judgment, and it keeps you at a distance from your own experience, watching it and assessing it rather than living it. It turns something that should be intimate into something that should be intimate, into something that feels more like a performance review. What has helped many souls is beginning to practice a different relationship with their own inner life. One of simple, quiet witnessing. Not fixing, not improving, not optimizing, not extracting lessons before the experience is even finished unfolding. Just watching with the same warmth you would offer to a beloved child who is learning something difficult for the first time. You would not stand over that child with a clipboard, marking their errors, calculating their deficiencies. You would sit close to them. You would let them struggle without rushing to intervene. You would meet their frustration with the steadiness of someone who knows they will figure it out. And you would offer them, through your presence alone, the security of being seen and accepted exactly as they are in this moment. You deserve that same witness. You're learning something extraordinary. You're doing something that takes enormous courage. The courage to stay open when closing would be easier, to keep feeling when numbness would be simpler, to remain on a path whose destination you cannot see and whose rewards are not always immediate or visible. You deserve to receive yourself with the same gentleness you would offer someone you dearly love. Not because you have earned it through sufficient progress, but because you are here and you are trying, and that is always enough. That is not spiritual bypassing. That is not avoiding the work. That is, in fact, the deepest work there is. The willingness to be tender with yourself through the hard parts, to choose kindness over self-criticism, patience over urgency, presence over performance, is what allows the hard parts to actually move. Resistance hardens everything it touches. Gentleness creates the conditions in which transformation can breathe. Dear one, you do not need to apply all of this at once. Please don't. The message I have given you today is not a to-do list. It is a landscape, and you are invited to walk through it slowly, stopping wherever something calls to you, resting wherever you need to rest, moving on whenever you are ready. Take the piece that felt most alive when you heard it. Just one. Carry it with you this week, the way you might carry a smooth stone in your pocket. Something small and solid to return to when the ground feels uncertain. Let it do its quiet work. You will be surprised what can change in 7 days when you tend to even one truth consistently. Growth is not a performance. It is not a checklist. It is not a highlight reel of breakthroughs and revelations. It is a slow, spiraling, deeply personal unfolding. And there is no version of it that looks exactly like anyone else's. The path you are walking has never been walked before, not in this exact combination of soul and circumstance and moment in time. It is entirely yours. It is unfolding at exactly the pace that your soul has chosen, for reasons that are not always visible from inside the unfolding, but are always purposeful. I trust that, and I invite you, gently and without pressure, to begin to trust it too. Not to perform trust, not to force yourself to feel certain when you feel uncertain. Just to hold lightly the possibility that you are not as lost as you feel, that the path is there even when you cannot see it, that you have not been abandoned by the universe that set you on this road. I have watched souls in far darker places than the one you are standing in right now find their way through to something they could not have imagined from where they stood at the beginning. Souls who were not special, not chosen in some elevated sense, not further along the path than you are, not possessed of some secret wisdom or extraordinary resilience that you do not have. They found their way through because they were willing to keep feeling when feeling was hard, willing to keep listening when the voice inside was quiet, willing to stay on the path even when they couldn't see where it was going, willing to believe, even in moments of profound doubt, that the struggle was not the end of the story. That willingness is what I see in you, the fact that you are here, that you sought this out, that you stayed through all of this, that some part of you recognized in these words something it needed and refused to look away. That tells me everything I need to know about you. That is not nothing. That is the entire engine of transformation. That is the thing that cannot be taught, only lived. And you already have it. You are not lost. You are finding your way. And those are not the same thing. One implies the absence of direction. The other implies the courage to keep moving, even without a map, even without a guarantee, even in the dark. Tonight, if you would like, you might place your hand gently on your chest, close your eyes for just a moment, and let yourself say something true. Something like, I am in the middle of something I don't fully understand yet. And I am going to be patient with myself through it. I am going to keep showing up for myself. I'm going to be kind to this version of me, the one who is in the middle, the one who hasn't arrived yet, the one who is doing the hardest and most sacred work of becoming. And that is enough. This moment is enough. I am enough. Let those words settle without needing them to feel profound. Do not evaluate them. Do not assess whether they worked, whether you feel different, whether something shifted. Just let them rest in you, like seeds in quiet ground. Seeds do not announce their growth. They simply grow in the dark in their own time, until one day something green and new appears at the surface that was not there before. You are the ground. You are also the seed, and the season will turn. Before we part, I have a small request. If something here touched you, if even one sentence landed somewhere real inside you, if even one moment created a small opening where there was only tightness before, share it in the comments below. Not for me, for yourself. Writing it makes it real. It takes what was interior and gives it weight in the world. It makes the formless tangible. And sometimes, in the naming of a thing, we claim it in a way we couldn't before. And if you see someone else's words below this video, if you see someone reaching, vulnerable, offering a small truth to the open air, offer them a moment of your warmth, a simple acknowledgement, a word that says, I see you. You are not alone. We grow faster when we grow together, and there is something quietly powerful about a community of people who are each, in their own way, doing this same courageous and difficult work. If someone you love needs to hear this, please pass it along. Sometimes the most profound gift we give is simply sharing what helped us. Not advice, not analysis. Just, this reached me, and I thought of you. That gesture, small as it seems, is an act of love. And love, in all its forms, is always the right medicine for what we are trying to heal. And if you would like to continue these conversations, subscribe and stay close. I will be here whenever you need, not with easy answers, but with presence and honesty and the willingness to sit with you in whatever you are moving through. Thank you for sitting with me today. Carry what serves you, leave what doesn't, and return whenever you wish. You are always welcome here.